Yeah, so this is cool. We're actually doing this right. Jeez. Woo. Okay, so
technology
learning curve. This has been, and I think I figured out the Instagram live thing. They are saving as TV now. So if this doesn't work, but hopefully it will, and I won't have so many kinks tomorrow if we can get it to work. But let's talk about you. How's it been going? You had your first year, end of year reviews, right? How did that all turn out?
It was good. I was really nervous that, I don't know, my work got like really weird really fast. And
well, we are in quarantine now, so.
Yeah, so I think that's what ended up happening. But I think that it was a really good review. It was actually good to talk to people and get people to comment on my work. We didn't get to talk too much about video work that I really was doing. They really enjoyed some of the later ones.
$7.99?
So I think it was supposed to be Psy.
Okay.
$7.99's the one that reviews in the middle.
Midpoint, yeah. And that's when everything hit the fan.
Yeah. So I didn't even, so we thought it was Psy, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So I think it's Psy, and then I worked with Psy and Jessica. So those two were very awesome. They kept me going. Jessica keeps tabs on me, which is awesome. She'll give me a schedule, which I need.
Yeah, she's really good at that.
Yeah. I would say that it was nice to finally finish the semester. I feel like I've been in this limbo state since I moved back home, where it kind of feels like summer, where we've been doing gardening, but it's also I've been still doing semester stuff and meeting in classes. And so it was nice to finally put like a good end to the work. That way I can just relax a little bit. I have a big public sculpture I'm doing next, and so I took like 2 deep breaths, and now I'm into that project, and then maybe I'll go back into the other work. But yeah, it was nice. It's like, I guess I'm obsessed with bioplastic right now.
Yeah, that's really cool. I've seen some of your videos and stuff. You're combining the bioplastic into the sculptures to harden them, as well as doing like the videos, because I've seen the ones where you have like your hands and it's like gushing between them like soap and stuff.
Yeah. It's such weird stuff. When it's not hard, it is like a gelatin or like a slime. Mm-hmm. That's what I've been really using for my videos. And depending, the one that's like tapioca, it like is sticky. And it like doesn't want to come off my skin, but the cornstarch plastic, it like starts to break at more points, and it's not as stringy when it like gets pulled apart. So it started to create like all those like micro peaks and valleys when I was washing my hands, and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta do a video with this, because like I kept seeing like different formations, like land formations over and over and over again, created with just like the pulling tension between the two surfaces. So that was like my favorite video that I made this semester. And I know that. Hey,
oh, they're fine. Just keep.
Oh, I wasn't sure if you.
I can
neighborhood
hear
kids,
them, but it's very, very subtle.
No, they're having fun. They're watering the grass.
It's nice to hear some giggling and fun in the background.
Yeah, we've been keeping the neighborhood kids occupied with fun things. Like doing normal things. They like to help out. But yeah, I've been doing that, and then I really have always liked to harden fabric with like resin and stuff. But I saw while I was looking on YouTube about how to make bioplastic, I saw a lot of people make like bowls where they completely soak the fabric and then cover it on the bowl and let it dry really hard, and it becomes like a flexible bowl, but it still is pretty hard and usable for a while. And so I started doing that, where I draped stuff over my cast iron sculptures that I had, and so it's really cool because it hardens, but it still looks like fabric. Because I noticed with resin-made fabric look kind of like way too translucent and not as like you start to lose a lot of that fabric quality.
Right.
But the bioplastic just like gives it that strength that it can hold, but it's also flexible. So it's like really weird. So I ended up like making this. I had two halves. One was fleece, and one was a layer and layer of like different neutral color bed sheets. And then I sewed them together and like physically stuffed them. And it was almost like I forget what that's called when you make like stuffed items. I don't know what the name of that
like
is.
some of them are skinning and stuff like that, but I haven't really heard
I
the
don't
term
know.
for
I
stuffing.
there's a word for it. I can't remember specifically, but it was really interesting to do that kind of work, and I was like, "This is so weird.
Yeah.
This is so for my work." It was very neutral tones and dark, and I'm always like a colorful person. I feel like a lot of the.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I feel like a lot of the work ended up, we talked about during my final review, very like prehistoric and very like almost like I was going for neutral and land vibes, but they kept seeing like fossils and like dinosaur bone and like different things, and I was like, that's kind of relatable too, but still obsessed with.
Did you
peak
have more
valve.
stuff than the like stalactite and stalagmite things and the floating piece that you had? Did you have more than that, or was it just
No.
those?
The stalactite and stalagmite piece was one, and that was a lot of stuff. And then there was that smaller one. And now I kind of wish I had more of them, but the big stalactite one took so long and so much resources. And then we discussed that that's not even the best one. They said they don't like the hanging straight up and down. So we talked about maybe altering it, like what if it was side to side, or what if it was put together, both bottoms. But it was kind of a piece that I needed to see once I was finished. But I ended up, it was so weird. It was like that little sculpture that was like the hanging one is one of my favorites, and it's so weird. It photographed so well. I couldn't believe it. I like looked at it on my phone, and I was like, whoa, this is awesome looking. And but it was just funny because that was scrap that I had, and I was like, these two pieces need to be together.
Right.
And I was like, wow, that's like so cool. So I definitely foresee newer things being done with that. I do wonder though, going bigger with the bioplastic, if it's going to hold its own strength or if it's going to collapse. Right. So I need to figure out like kinks with that before I go bigger with work.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Have you mostly tried it on natural fabrics, or have you used synthetics at all?
It's both. I've used both. Okay. And it's weird. I think the natural, it soaks in better into the fibers. Mm-hmm. In synthetic, it doesn't. It kind of just like creates a like layer on both sides instead of soaking really in. And I find that the really nice like kind of thick cotton sheets are like the best, because they just really get absorbed, and then over time it definitely gets harder, which is really cool. It's so weird that the tapioca stuff is way too flexible, and so it creates like not a very good structure, but the cornstarch is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Did a lot of strength.
I bet, like, especially with some of the forms, since you're working small now, once you got bigger and used like an armature and everything, that then you would be able to either, like make it and then build the armature to the piece, or build the bioplastic stuff around the armature.
That's what I think is going to be the next move.
Yeah. Have you tried sewing it at all yet?
Yeah, it sews great.
Does it?
Not with a sewing machine. I have not tried with a sewing machine. But hand sewing, yeah. It goes, that's how I put the two halves together. I just sewed it all together. Then, go ahead.
Have you tried altering the color, like with maybe even shoe polish and stuff, or
No, I've been doing clear, but that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I would wonder if like even acrylics and stuff will go in.
Yeah, I
I've
would
seen
think so.
people use food coloring works, so I could get like neutral food coloring dyes and
that would be an option to start adding color into it if you didn't
Yeah.
like that natural tone. Does it,
Is that-
it affects the color of the sheet itself?
It kind of just turns it like a micro shade darker,
Okay,
but not
well,
by
that's
much.
Not too bad.
Not by much.
Cool.
My foot's numb.
You've been sitting on it too long. Well, this seems like it's going to work really good, and I'm glad it's going to, because Instagram was annoying me, because it was like, I couldn't, because my image was at the top, and then the guest was always at the bottom, and all of the chat was popping up over the guest. I'm like, how can I switch? And then this...
And Instagram doesn't have a good online format for itself at all.
Yeah, and it's really hard to save the things, especially that length, and every week it's different. And I want something very, like it was a good starter platform to get this started as I was learning, but I want to look a little bit more professional and, have better options of how to present it. So I think this is actually going to work really well. Now I just have to
think
start
about maybe an area, set up a corner in the house or outside where you can like have a backdrop, or you could even do like your logo in the back.
I've got that. You can't see it because we're on Skype, but once you go and look at the video, it's got the canning jar, my logo that I created, the canning jar with the loose tea coming out of it, with the little name down at like the right bottom.
This is so awesome. I'm so glad it's blowing up.
Yeah, I'm really enjoyed it, and I just, now my biggest thing's just getting everybody on Skype instead of Instagram, and now everybody can view it. That was one of the biggest problems, was like people that didn't have Instagram, they were like, we want to watch, but we can't really access this. And
this will be a better archive in the long run, which is really nice.
Right. And once I get more streamlined, like this OBS Streamlabs, I can add in like intro screens, so it like does a countdown ticker until we go live and stuff like that. And I can do like intermissions, and we shouldn't have to have intermissions really now, because Instagram's not going to be shutting us off. So yeah. The other thing was, I realized since I've been videotaping with my phone, I had it linked through my computer to screen share and start recording. So every video from after LeBlanc to now doesn't have my audio. So I'm going to have to like
lip read.
Yeah, basically I'm going to take and edit them with doing a voiceover, but I'm not going to try to get my full conversation into it. I'm just going to like voice over what the general conversation on my side was, and then leave the full conversation of the artist on there. It's going to be interesting, because there's no way that I'm going to be able to lip read.
I wonder if there's a way to get the audio from Instagram.
I don't, well, see, until Kristen's video, there was no Instagram TV. So I was able to save her video straight from Instagram, and it was great. I have both sides of the audio, everything, but everything that I was videotaping through my phone, casting it to my laptop using Let's View, it didn't have my audio. And there's no way to retrieve it because it's gone. It was during the part of time where Instagram was only letting you view it for 24 hours. So,
I hate that.
Yeah. But it's going to be interesting. And it might take me a while to edit all of those, but it should be fun. And because we had such good conversations, because it was like starting with Katie Hopenkamp and Chloe and like all of those, and I'm just like, man, I can't believe I
Well, I
missed
wonder if
that.
you could contact like actual Instagram and see if they have archives.
You would think, because I mean, everything. If it's
They save
if it's
everything.
web, it's on the web. It's there forever. It seems like so.
And I found out. Who did I find out? We were doing a in my other class. We were talking about copyright issues from lawyers and stuff. Instagram can use any of your
I
photos that
didn't
you
realize
post,
that. Like
which I was
now, it
like,
makes me want to have a watermark on everything.
yeah, me too. I know we were talking about copyright issues as artists, and I was like, that's a good idea. Is like on your videos having a watermark.
Yep, that was an interesting colloquium session for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew a lot of it, but it was just like hearing it from actual lawyers and sort of some of the things that I hadn't always thought about because
It's
I
very
hadn't even
interesting.
really thought.
I was like, oh gosh. I
But
thought we were separated from the real world, but we're not.
yeah, right.
We're not.
Because I mean, like with my work, especially printmaking, I use so much like free domain stuff. Most of it's 40 plus years old, so even if there was a copyright on that patent or something, it
You're fine.
no longer exists. And like written word, like newspapers and stuff like that, most of all of it's from the 1800s. So I highly doubt that
What
that's
they gonna
really an
do?
issue.
They're
So
gonna single you out.
yeah, it's all blurred. I mean, you can't even tell what it says. So who
Oh,
knows?
I see it right there. It's right there. Yeah. But I'm glad this is gonna work.
Yep, I'm so glad you helped me with this, and thank you so much for always being my guinea pig.
No problem. The lady who owns guinea pigs shall be the guinea pig.
Right?
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like
awesome.
that's basic rule of thumb there.
Yep. Well, it was good catching up with you. Hopefully, we can do it more in person a little bit later, celebrate graduation and all that, and just keep kicking. And I'll talk to you later.